G'day, welcome back to the channel and thank you for joining me. Today we are turning some of this, one of these, this, or most of it, and some of this, all that being plastic filament, into, pardon the adjustment in the light, one of these. What's that? Light again. That's a portable filming light. USB-C PD powered. Love these triggers. What I've got to do is cut this out, put some holes in it to match the templates. I've designed up already a bunch of different templates. So we've got the, well, we'll get to that, because that is not Perspex. That is something that's going to probably cause a few comments. But so far I have tested it long term and it has been fine. And that's saying it's probably more flammable than Perspex. Anyway, this is the template for the piece of metal here. So what you want to do is go into the files you download, which you can get down below, or the link to down below. Print out this one and mark up a scrap piece of check plate. In this case it is 3mm check plate. That will matter because this design is to suit a 3mm check plate. Could do it for 1.6, but it would probably work just as fine actually. I guess the overall surface area would be very similar as long as you have as many of these, because they do sort of increase the surface area a little bit. So we've got to cut that out, and then we've got to take a whole bunch of LED strip and put it on there. Now I'm actually going to go and open this for you now and show you, but let me quickly get into this. What is it? Well, obviously I've already told you that. How does it work? It's got a plug down here and USB-C. This is just the only one I've got on hand actually, because I don't have many of these. I need to get a couple more that work. Watch your eyes. Boom. And there you go. Now these LEDs are like warm white, but I found I had to actually experiment with the method of my diffuser here. Anyway, let's open this up, have a little look, and in the meantime I will cut and drill this, and then we'll get to putting this on here, because it's not quite as straightforward as it seems. Yes. I mean, it's fairly straightforward, but you do need to make sure you've got good electrical insulation from this panel above all the areas you're going to be soldering, and that will probably require a bit of the old Kapton tape. However, you can just use good old sellotape. That will work just fine. This is not a high temperature application, although the Kapton tape does give you that extra layer of safety. That said, the diffuser is made from oil-soaked recycled paper, and I just realized there's details on there that I can't show you right now. I've got to actually, yeah. But basically that's it, and it's laminated. But you will pick the oil based upon the shade you want. Anyway, we'll get into all of that. Let's just get the electronics done for now. I think I may make 2 videos out of this. It depends how much it blows out, but I'll let you know, as we get into it. Not now. And here it is. So here we have 2 pieces of plastic. This one could actually be thickened to the height of the screws. I think I might do that, or at least sort of in this area here. It sandwiches the laminated piece of paper in between, and that is fairly simple. Then you've got the hole for just hanging it off something or whatnot. Then we've got the array itself. Now that's just this already sort of, you know, pretty easy to use, sticks on, you know, LED tape array. And here you can see I've continued it on with that lacquered wire and I've bent it round and joined it together, sellotape underneath and sticky tape on top, and hopefully this will come back. And as you can see, I have conformal coated the resistors, and there is conformal coating along here and here. Here is the USB-C PD trigger. Awesome little things. If you haven't played with them, I highly suggest you do. They're just a great way to get various power supplies, like voltages. Now, can you see just here? So these switches here, they correspond with this table on the back, and you just need to flick them, and that's good, it's done. I've also conformal coated that, as you can see there, and that's just wired in there. That's pretty well it. This has a little bit of that 3M tape on top and a bit of the 3M tape at the back here. You have to make sure you put the USB-C into that little hole properly, and when you stick it down. And that's basically it. Then we got the bar that screws into the back plate. That's the other filament I was using before. Pretty simple, really. So let's get about making it. Now, in order to save a bit of time, of course, the first step is to go and get the template printed off and to then cut your piece of metal. So I'm going to do that. It's fairly simple. Bench work, so I'm going to go to the shed and do that. It's 100 million degrees, so I'm not going to film it in there. And then I'll come back and we'll string this up. I may or may not get that all done this evening, so I may have a different shirt when you see me again. Anyway, now my voice might sound different, who knows? Maybe I'll start speaking like this. No, I won't. Okay, so we have a square. I've cut this out over in the workshop over there. I did kind of possibly maybe use a slightly blunt drill bit, so there's a reminder tech tip. Drunk drill bits, or blunt drill bits, as may aptly be named drunk, will tend to bind up the end of the drill with the material you're drilling, and if it's a softer material like aluminium, it causes an awful effect in the hole where you're basically plowing the material out of the way instead of drilling it, instead of cutting it. And so you end up having to do a lot of cleanup work, and it's just, ugh. If you start drilling and your drill bit's drunk, or blunt, throw it out. Sorry, I still lack of sleep this week. And get a new one, or sharpen it, if you've got the equipment. So here we are. We have the plate, as you can see, and we have the template for the plate. Can slightly go outside the template. It will fit. I have designed a tolerance in it, because it's always better to have a bit more material than a bit less material, and because this is really only press fitted in, it's not screw fitted in. I mean, the screws go through it and the plastic holds it, but the screws aren't meant to be sort of threaded through this. It's just a plate in there. So we have this here, and now we need to mark for these bad boys. Now, one thing I'll quickly mention, this strip here. I won't be putting a link for this down below because I bought this a long time ago, but basically it's like $6 for a roll. It might be $10, you know, inflation. You don't really need anything fantastic. Just a nice 12-volt warm white, that'll do. You are going to be, you can actually have a bit of choice in this design when you get to the stage of making the diffuser. Depending on the type of oil you use, whether it's darker or lighter oil, you can change the shade of that, and you could even have multiple diffusers if you so wished. In fact, I don't see why you couldn't have, although this won't be in this version, something on the front of the light, imagining that's the front of the light there, that you slide a diffuser into, an extra one. Anyway, we've got to line these up in here, and you can see that they are spaced such that there's just enough room for the LEDs and those metal strips to be on the outside. And we need to line them up straight. So the way I I mean, we don't need to line them up like millimeter straight. Well, actually millimeter probably, but 0.0 no. So what you want to do is get this thing, find your flattest edge. Now this has got some edges that were from machined out, not cut out, so you know, when it was made into its original plate. So I will use this edge here, and you can see I've got it marked to the top there, so I know which orientation I'm going to be. Make sure there's nothing underneath on the board. Right, so there we go. I've got it in my hands, and you can see there's a slight lip on one side. Clamp. And clamp. Now we have it marked. Okay. Now I want to check I'm happy with that. I'm not happy with that. I've actually ended up slipping out at the bottom. Okay. I'm going to blame my mistakes on lack of sleep if I make them today. And there will be some, I'm sure. So now I've got something to support that there. And I've got the marking, the template where I want it. I could actually do this with a nail, but I'm going to use the knife. I'm going to use the back of the knife, not the sharp side. And literally, I just want to come along and score the top, score the bottom, and that's it. That's all I need to do. So, let's get this. Be really careful. Put it right in the corner. And score. And score. I'm not tired, I swear. Okay, I'm going to set this up, score the other sides again. So I've got the square there, the whole square there. You probably want to do that so that you can actually measure where you want your lights to be. And I'll come back in a second. Okay, so there you've got your markings for where the lights are going to go. Turn it to the right way up in the device. That's literally just to accommodate this margin that I left there. Because I kind of stuffed up my holes, so I had to line it up. Don't do that. Use a sharp drill bit. Right. Now, to cut this stuff, you literally just want a good sharp pair of scissors. You can see that just fits in there. It's nice that that's a kind of standardized length. Yeah, and then you just want to come along and cut it where this line is here. You see that line there. Take your scissors, which are now magnetized to the wall. Come along and chop. And rinse and repeat. Probably 14 times. I'll confirm that in a moment. Every so often you'll come to a solid one, just chop straight through it. Now we have 14 of these little things. So when you do come to put them on, you'll notice there is a positive and a ground. And the next one, if it's up the same way, should be up the same way, will have the same thing. So you're going to have to string the power along here, boom, 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 and boom, 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 and wire that one in to your power source. And that's how that will be there. So make sure you do stick them down correctly. Oh, wait, first. I forgot a step. Tape. You need some tape. In this case, I'm using this Captain tape, if I can find the end. And you want to tape underneath where the terminals are going to go. Doesn't matter if there's like, I'm not right above it, I can't see that straight. So down that side there, and then down the other side here. And this is going to make sure that your solderings are insulated, which you want. You want to have them insulated from the plate. Otherwise, you're not going to have a good time. So you are going to need the tape again when you're done. Now, there is actually something else you could try. Running the center of your thing and taking it out. Okay, that is running some copper tape. So maybe we could try running a ground line. I think I might do that. Let me just fix this. I think I'm faced with the awful choice of using the tape from the inside out. So what I'm thinking is we could run a line of copper tape. Let's just cut ourselves off a strip of applicable length. Put it over here. Now, sorry, I'm doing thought exercises while I'm building. I'm doing it again. If that sits in there like that, and we put a copper strip down this side. Okay, I want more Kaptan tape. That halves the work of making this light. So we're going to do it. Basically, the main work in making this is wiring up these LEDs. So we're going to do this. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. Get the tape out again. If it doesn't work, just do it like I've done it for the other light, and you can see a picture of it here. Lay down another layer of this. This paper just got stuck under there, but it's part of the build now. Make sure that's all stuck down nice and well, and get yourself around to the correct orientation. I think at this point I'm going to stick the light in, and then afterwards maybe I'll do this. Okay, so stuff that up by sticking light in, rubbing my hands on there all the time. So, back to where we were. This stuff has some backing on it. And if I can do this on camera. Oh my god, how long has that been slipped down like that? Sorry if the voice has been muffled. I've probably done my best in post to fix that. I need to get closer. I need to get closer. Closer still. Finicky ass shit. Honestly, even with nails, it's finicky as. And so it's a pretty tight space. Just bring that in like that. So that light's going to sit inside with a nice bit of space around it. And then drop your strip. And then line it up in the right direction. And just press it down along the line that you want. And that'll get it in. Then we get the next one. And we struggle to unstick it. Okay, so whilst you're doing this, you've got this little line here that's going to guide you on the initial strip. You notice I'm a little offset to the left there. I'm not going to fix that with that one, that's fine, but I do need to account for it when I do the next one. And there's one more little tip for handling this stuff. So I've come from the wrong side unintentionally. When you peel back the paper, get some focus, and you can see how I've got that under my finger, and I can sort of have some control there. So I can pull that back a fair way without worrying about moving my hand. So with the last one, I just want to quickly mention, oh, if you freaking work, come on. Two things. One, it's 13 strips, and two, see how I've lined it up down the bottom here? You can adjust the forward and back before you stick it all down just by pushing on it or pulling, and it'll move it slightly one way or the other. Ta-da! There you go, that is the array. Now, I'm still waiting for batteries to charge, but we can stick down the copper strips. Now importantly, you don't want your copper strips to touch where the screws go through, or the screws at all. So do keep that in mind when you're sort of splicing them out. Okay, so copper strips are actually like, you know, thinner and weaker than the paper that they're backed on. So they're difficult to use. And there we go, we have the light. Actually, it's this end here, which could be pulled back a bit, but I think I'm just gonna do that powering connection last. And so now we have the fun of soldering it up. Now I'm gonna wait for my lights to charge for that one, but to do it, I'm gonna be using this, which is just a 22 AGW gauge 0.71 tin copper wire. The first light will go power in and then onto the bus, and then the 12 volt will actually get a piece that bends around and lies in there, and then this will go onto the bus, onto the bus, onto the bus, onto the bus, onto the bus. So all of that will be on the bus, and then I'm just going to string the 12 volt down this side. Can I use make this a 12 volt bus here? Or do we just not use it at all? No. I don't see how that's right. Because I'd be running the 12 off here off this side of this string, and the ground off here off this side of the string, which means there's a difference on that because that string's inside the before the parallel. So what I need to do is run parallel through this string, and then a parallel off this bus for the ground, and parallel down that side. This side actually may not be necessary, and I may just remove this copper strip later on. Whoopsie. Right, I'm impatient, so I'm probably going to end up running out of batteries here. It's starting on half, and there's another one in the charger. I should charge my bloody batteries. I have made some changes, if you'll see here. What I have done is I have added Kapton tape underneath the top and bottom, just on the edges of the LED array. And then I've added two more, the last two bits that I'd cut off, down those empty spaces that were present. And what we're going to do is bus bar all the way down here, and then it continues around the corner, down through here, and basically I'll go into exactly what I'm doing here in a sec, but that will continue all the way down there. And then ground off there, positive will have to be piped around here with some of this, and then across there and again to there. And that'll give me a couple more, well, 12 more LEDs on the array. So let's get to the next bit. So here you can see that we have, well, that was really quick. Okay. What a bugger. At least we're on the other camera right now, eh? Sorry about the microphone. Here we can see that the voltage will come in here where I've marked V in there, and then the ground comes off onto this bus bar there, and the positive will be looped like that, and then we'll daisy chain around in that fashion, so on and so forth, all the way down. It's time to add some bars. So I'm going to do these 12 volt ones all the way down. First thing I've got to do is, of course, tin my little spots. So turn on the soldering iron and cue soldering montage. Well, actually the first one I will do live, and then we'll start the montage. That seems better. So those are going to have to go like that. So what I'll do is, when this is tinned, well, it's already warm, I'll tin that there, put this on there. Well, I'll show you now. Should clean my tip a bit better. There's a tip, clean your tip. That'd be a drip. It's awful. And so then, because you're dealing with such thin materials, such thin traces, just give it all a little bit of flux as you go along. It'll really help. When in doubt, flux it out. Clean my tip. Fresh solder. And okay, cut that now, because that's annoying. So then you need to come along and probably want to flux these two up as well. Fresh solder. Bang. Like that. Then get your snips, flat side in, and snip. And that is that. Then you want to rinse and repeat, just to show you that's stuck down. Then you want to rinse and repeat that all the way down. As you can see, it's a bit of a slow and finicky process, but that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so if you make a mistake and you put too much stuff on, this is an option. It's not a great one. Observe. These are good. Solder pump. And that is our positive rail done. Now, before you move on, grab your multimeter, stick it into connectivity mode, test her out, good, and use proper probes, not clip-on probes, might be easier. There we go. And if we go from here to here, there we go. So that's the positive side done. Now to do your ground. And for the ground, it's fairly simple. Is this battery done yet? Yay! Alright, I'll come back with another camera. Alright, so for the positive side, we have all of these little bad boys in here. Let's just drop one or two out so you can see them. They're just some of the same stuff that I cut off earlier. And what we're going to do is center that up. Is basically yank, drop them, beep, 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 along here. I'll do the first one and then we'll enjoy some nice music. Oh yeah, you can very easily lose these. Very easily. Oh my god, okay, this might be a more difficult way of doing it than I thought. I'm beginning to think that maybe this would be easier if I did it this way. So I have a question. You might notice that when I touch the positive rail, I don't think it is. Huh. Oh, it was lighting him up before. But you may have seen that. Why is it lighting him up? There's no, I've had that before, there's no short. Is it picking up some sort of, you know what I mean, like induced current? Okay, let's get on with this. Alright, cue montage. Okay, there we go. Now we got to do another continuity check. Excellent. Cool. That's the array. Just got to put the put some power on it, and she's good to go. Now, fair warning, this could be a little bright. Now, let's put some power on it. Yep. Fair warning, this is going to be bright on that screen. Boom. There we go. Love it. 10 out of 10 there. And that's 0.4 of an amp and 4.8 watts at 12 volt. So, yep, beautiful, that's done. Now we've got to print off the case. I've got to add some holes to that case. What we have to do now is I've got to start that stuff printing. I've got to do the designing and start the stuff printing. But we have to waterproof this bad boy, set it up to the right voltage, and turn that off. And also conformal coat the screen itself. I mean the LED array. And it might seem a bit pedantic to go and have to mark it, but like always take those extra steps that will stop you from making silly mistakes later on. They are really worthwhile, like really worthwhile. So, conformal coating. I'm going to conformal coat these points, these resistors. I'm going to conformal coat all over that. All of the joints are going to get coated. And this stretch here, so it's stuck down. I'm going to cap-tan tape that side, cap-tan tape these two, and that should provide the top layer of insulation. And again, it doesn't have to be too neat, really, it's just a bit wasteful if you're not neat. Now this conformal coating is going to provide two jobs, do two jobs. It's going to insulate these runs and to help secure these solder joints, but it's also going to help stick down the ends of this copper tape and the other tape. And it really is to help hold that array of bars in place as much as to provide a corrosion protection. I'm not too overly concerned about the corrosion, to be honest. And for a large space like this, you probably want to use lacquer. I mean, this is a bit bloody expensive, really. But as long as it's going to keep everything secure, I'm happy. Now, I may want to come back over that, but we will come to that and check that in due course. Put that to one side for the moment. Because now we have this to do. Now, for these, you just want to break them off, chuck your spare one back in. Got this bit here for some reason. I guess that's to anchor it, but we don't need that. So get hold of that and break it off. Now you've got your unit. So on the back here, you can see that you've got switch 1, 2, 3, and then the various positions in which they want it to sit. Yes. But which way are the switches now? I mean, I don't even know if you can see that. It's ultra tiny, but they're all... So you got on, KE, 1, 2, 3. On the back. 1, 2, 3. And we want 12 volts. That's on, off, on. So here we are. Got no on there, mate. Yeah. Got the device here. Hopefully I can do this. Push 1, up, and up. Okay, so that is as is. Now we need to test it. So we have a USB-C PD power supply, and we have a voltmeter, multimeter, whatever you want to call it. So gonna hook in. So there we go, we've got the probes on like that, and plug in. Boom, 11.9, got it. Oh god, this one battery's gonna die. Alright, I'm gonna have to swap batteries. Oh my god, the work I'm gonna have to do because of these fucking batteries. Alright. So here we go, we've got this here. I'm gonna turn on this light. Now we want to conform or coat it. Now you may want to change the power later or you may not. In this case, I'm not gonna bother. So I'm gonna give it all a big nice goop back here. The only thing you need to be careful of is the USB-C, which lovingly has 2 capacitors right next to it. Because of course it does, mate. Of course it does. It wouldn't be fun if there wasn't 2 giant capacitors to worry about right next to the USB. Yep, goop the switch. I just don't care in this case. And so that is that. Now, how do you know if you have done a decent job or not? Well, you want a torch. Oh, look, there's stuff flicked everywhere. Yes. My shirt, yes. So this is a UV torch. If you haven't come across this before, you can see that it fluoresces. And there's goop, 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 goop. Lots of goop. Any in there? Nope, looks good. And probably actually get the lacquer. And look at that fluorescing from the LEDs. It's cool. Right, so finish that up. Actually, I think I'm going to just get lacquer and use lacquer. And Captan. And then that's that. That is that. Now that is lacquered. Well, I think they call that lacquering the fuck out of it, right? Oh yeah, it's pretty well insulated. If you wanted to go a step further, you could just lacquer over the whole thing. You're probably going to be fine. Should I try it? That's got to dry now. I've got to print some stuff, do some changes to the design. You've seen me add a hole to stuff, have you, before? I don't know. Look, I'm going to skip the design changes, like showing you how I do them. If you do want to see more of that stuff, I do use Rhino, which is kind of niche, but it is quite a powerful, although very expensive, way of doing it. That said, you know, it cost me, I think it was $900 IUD a long time ago. I'm probably at, you know, it's Rhino 8 now, I use Rhino 5. It's only $375 to upgrade. It's very powerful and does things way beyond my needs, but it does allow you to sort of just go as you please, and I found it very intuitive to use. A bit weird maybe. But if you want to see stuff on that, let me know. And it has come to that part of the video where I must apologize for having to cut it off. We're getting to the 40-minute mark here, and YouTube will hate me if I just do this as one whole video, which will be about an hour and a half or yeah. So the best I can really do is to make this into 2 40-minute videos, and I will get the second one put out as soon as possible, within a couple of days, because I'm editing them both at once. Really, I edited it all up at once. On that note, oh my god. I have been editing so much. I've done 2 heavy cutting passes on this, and I've gone back doing another camera shot pick. I've done the audio. It's become a hell of a job. It's actually more work editing this video than making the light. Yeah, and you've seen how much work it takes to make the light. So it just is the amount of time that went into it, and to quote Ave, the bumblefuckery of my own ineptitude in filming it. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Please do join me for part 2. Drop a like and subscribe down there. Yeah, 1,000 likes, I'll make a nice sleek front cover, and I'll design some sort of nice pattern to go in this space at the back. Yeah, figure I got to do something to start driving this forward, because yeah, I'm gotta get over the 1,000 mark sometime, and get myself 1,000 subs, and I can start taking this very seriously. I suppose. I don't think I'll ever replace my full-time job though. Anyway, thank you very much. I'll catch you next time.